Marcus stood in line at Premier National Bank, clutching a check that would change his life forever. $10 million. The numbers still felt unreal. After years of working double shifts as a hospital janitor while raising his 2 kids alone, after every sacrifice and sleepless night, his mobile app idea had finally sold. But as he approached the counter, smoothing down his worn work jacket, he had no idea he was about to face the most humiliating moment of his life. The woman behind the counter, Mrs. Patricia Thornwood, barely glanced up as Marcus slid the check across the marble surface. What happened next would teach everyone in that bank a lesson about kindness they would never forget. Before we continue with this incredible story, I want to invite you to join our Kindness World family. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that will restore your faith in humanity. Drop a like if you believe in the power of kindness, and leave a comment telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected compassion. Your story might be featured in our next video. Now, let's get back to Marcus and what happened at that bank. Marcus had been banking at Premier National for 12 years. Every 2 weeks, he'd deposit his modest paycheck, sometimes just a few $100s. The tellers knew him as the quiet man who always said thank you, who sometimes brought his kids in on Saturdays, teaching them about saving money. His account was simple, honest, just like him. Patricia Thornwood was different from the other tellers. She'd been promoted to senior manager 6 months ago and had developed a reputation for being efficient, thorough, and unfortunately, judgmental. When she picked up Marcus's check, her eyes widened. Then they narrowed. "Sir, where did you get this?" Her voice carried across the quiet bank lobby. Other customers turned to look. Marcus felt heat rise to his cheeks. "It's payment for my company. I sold my app to a tech firm. It's legitimate. I can show you the paperwork." Patricia's perfectly manicured nail tapped the check. "Mr. Chen, I've been processing your deposits for months. Janitor salary. And now you're presenting a $10 million check." She laughed, sharp and cold. "This is clearly fraudulent." Marcus's hands trembled as he reached for his folder of documents. "Ma'am, please, I have the sale agreement right here. I can call the company. This is real." But Patricia had already made up her mind. In front of everyone, in front of the young mother with her toddler, the elderly couple waiting for their turn, the businessman checking his phone, she picked up Marcus's check and slowly, deliberately, tore it in half. Then in half again. The sound of ripping paper echoed like a slap. "We do not tolerate fraud at Premier National," she announced loudly. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave before I call security." Marcus stood frozen, humiliation washing over him in waves. His eyes stung. This was supposed to be the best day of his life. The day he could finally tell his kids they wouldn't have to worry anymore. The day he could afford his daughter's college tuition, his son's medical treatments. And now, torn into pieces on a marble counter. What exactly is going on here? A deep voice cut through the tension. Mr. James Harrison, the bank's regional director, had emerged from his office. He rarely came to the main floor, but the commotion had drawn him out. Patricia straightened, confident in her decision. "Sir, this man attempted to deposit a fraudulent check for $10 million. I've handled it." Mr. Harrison's eyes moved from the torn check to Marcus's face, and something shifted in his expression. "Mr. Chen, Marcus Chen." Marcus nodded, unable to speak. "Patricia, do you have any idea who you just humiliated?" Mr. Harrison's voice was quiet but firm. He turned to Marcus. "Sir, I am so deeply sorry. I read about your app sale in the business section last week. VisionCare, the app that helps visually impaired people navigate public spaces using AI. You're a hero in the tech community right now." The color drained from Patricia's face. Mr. Harrison continued, addressing the whole lobby now. "This man spent 5 years learning to code after his shifts ended at 2 in the morning. He built something that's going to help millions of people. And we just tore up his check and accused him of fraud because of what? Because he's wearing a work jacket. Because we couldn't imagine a janitor being brilliant." He turned back to Patricia. "Clean out your desk. Your employment here is terminated effective immediately." "But sir, I was just being careful, protecting the bank." "You were being cruel. There's a difference between diligence and discrimination. We don't need people who can't recognize worth when it's standing right in front of them." Mr. Harrison personally escorted Marcus to his office. Within an hour, the check was reissued, the deposit processed, and Marcus was offered a formal apology from the bank's president. But what Marcus remembered most was what Mr. Harrison said as they shook hands. "My father was a janitor too. Worked nights at an office building downtown. He taught me that a person's job doesn't measure their value, their character does. I'm sorry you had to experience that, and I'm grateful you reminded me of that lesson today." 3 months later, Marcus returned to Premier National, but not as a customer. He'd purchased the building next door and turned it into a community center offering free coding classes to working adults. On opening day, he invited everyone from the bank, including the customers who'd witnessed his humiliation. He wanted them to see what kindness looked like when it was given a chance to grow. The young mother from that day brought her teenage son to enroll in classes. The elderly couple donated computers. Even Mr. Harrison volunteered to teach financial literacy workshops. Patricia sent a letter. In it, she wrote that losing her job had forced her to examine her own prejudices. She was volunteering at a homeless shelter now, learning that dignity isn't determined by bank balances or job titles. Marcus framed that letter in his office, not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves to be seen. And sometimes, the people who need kindness most are the ones who've forgotten how to give it. The next time you're tempted to judge someone by their appearance, their job, or what you think you know about them, remember Marcus. Remember that behind every face is a story you haven't heard, a dream you can't see, a potential you might never imagine. Choose kindness. Choose to see people, because you never know when you're standing in front of someone extraordinary who just needs one person to believe in them. That's the kind of world worth building, one act of recognition, one moment of respect, one choice to be kind at a time.